What is up, beautiful people? It's Jacob here, bringing you another Evolve Stage 2 guide. Today I'll cover the monster perspective, and if you haven't watched my last video, I recommend that you do. Some of the information here will be referencing that guide, so if you're lost, I would give it a watch. Once again, this is a beginner guide, and maybe for some of the returning players who haven't played in a while, this is for you guys. If people want it, I can make a more advanced guide going into specific Monster Hunter matchups, tier list, perk setups. So please let me know if you want something like that. If you do enjoy this video, please like, sub, comment. I am a small content creator, guys. Please. I see all your comments, and I try to respond to every single comment. So if you want to interact with me, I will definitely respond to your comment. Now, with that out of the way, hope you guys enjoy the background gameplay, and let's get straight into the guide. So once you open up Evolve, you're barraged with so many different options. So let's go over some of the monsters you can play as. And I'm not going to go into the specifics of every single monster or the benefits and disadvantages of every monster, but I want to go over one major point, which is the trade-off between tankiness and mobility in this game. So when you're playing something like Behemoth, you are going to have an extremely high health pool, but your traversal is rolling and you have no other mobility spells in your kit. Compare that to a Wraith who has a very small health pool that has a ton of mobility, which helps with creating distance. So I just recommend picking whatever fits your playstyle, whether you want that assassin, quick in and out type Wraith, or in your face, ready to brawl type Behemoth. And now once you've picked your character and you've jumped into your first game, you're going to see your character feasting on some dude. He's having a bad day. How do you win? And the answer is simple. Just kill all the hunters, which easier said than done, right? But there is a secondary objective, which is breaking the generator at stage 3. And I'm going to touch on that towards the end. So enough on what we need to do. How are we going to do it? So right off the jump, first things first, we need to run quickly, because stage 1 monster is pretty weak and will absolutely get wrecked by the hunters closing it quickly, and we only have 30 seconds till the hunters drop. So what do we do? Some of you may be tempted to hide your footsteps, crouch off spawn. This is not something I would recommend anymore. In Legacy Evolve, this is a decent idea, but in this newer version, Trapper has something called a global scanner, so any attempts on stealth from the very beginning will be ruined quickly, and once the global scanner goes off, they're going to be way closer than you would like them to be. So alternatively, I believe you should just use everything in your kit, try to get as much distance as possible, and this will allow you to maximize the amount of free feeding you get. Furthermore, the more space you have from the hunters, the more likely they are to lose line of sight of you, making them have to guess which directions you plan on going, which again creates more space. And once you've created that space, the next thing to do is maintain it, obviously. And the first way I'm going to suggest doing that is just keep spamming spacebar when it's off cooldown, right? Unless you're playing like Behemoth, charge it up a little bit, but then spacebar out of there, trying to maintain that distance as best you can. The second way I'm going to recommend is, this is finally when we can use some of our stealth tactics, and this is only possible after the Trapper uses his global scanner. And you're going to see it's going to say like Trapper has scanned you, and this is your chance to, not right away, but soon after is your chance to kind of use stealth for the first time in this game, because during that cooldown they're going to have to be using the cues that you give them, whether from the mobs and the tracks, to figure out where you're at. And so you can play mind games by walking one way, crouching and double backing, climbing up some stuff and hiding behind some rock pillars to start losing the hunters. Another way you can use stealth is using the water. There's no footsteps on top of the water, and so if you're running through some sort of river, hunters won't be able to see those footsteps, so you can always use that to your advantage. After you created and maintain that space, the next thing you need to focus on is feeding efficiently. And it doesn't matter how much time you have. If you're feeding inefficiently, then the hunters are going to catch up to you, and you're going to be very sad because you haven't ate enough to evolve and now they've caught up to you. So how do you feed efficiently? The First thing is, all monsters have some sort of AoE ability that allows them to one-shot a group of mobs. Primarily, you want to be on the lookout for the small groups of mobs that give 2 bars of shield. If this varies between situation to situation, because if you see an opportunity, maybe there's a bunch of 1-bar mobs that you can kill really quickly that add up to like 5-6 bars, that's probably going to be worth your time. But you just want to be on the lookout for those big groups of mobs, eating as much in one place as possible without having to chase them down individually. If you're using those 2 ideas of creating and maintaining distance while also feeding efficiently, you'll have no problem making it stage 2 relatively quickly and with pretty low conflict. You're not going to need to try to make some big stage 1 outplay to get out of there. But life isn't all rainbows, and this isn't a PvE game, so let's lock in, because at some point you're going to get caught, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. In a straight fight, hunters have the advantage, even arguably at stage 3. At this point, I'm going to bring up 2 resources that the monster has, and that's going to be their shield and their health. The shield comes back after you feed. Some perks allows it to regen over time, but health, once you lose health, it's gone forever. But at the same time, the game is pretty balanced, actually. So the hunters have a similar mechanic, where if they go down, they lose 25% of their health permanently. They go down twice, they lose 50% of it. And if they go down the 3rd time, they just die. You don't even have to worry about them. So in these early fights, your goal shouldn't be to wipe them on the first fight, but to get as many downs as possible while risking as little of your own health. Because at some point, you will have such a great health advantage that you can just win in a straight 1v4 with ease, and that's when you want to go for that wipe, when you have that type of an advantage. The other benefit of getting downs quickly is that it reduces the length of the dome, meaning that with 1 down, you're pretty much ready to leave the dome. It'll go down pretty quickly. And the things you want to look out for to get those quick downs is maybe Assault used their defense matrix poorly. That makes them an easy kill. Maybe the medic is been spamming jetpack too much and now he's out of fuel. He's pretty much a sitting duck to just get ran down. Maybe the trapper went too far ahead of his team and to hit this dome in the first place, so you can quick kill him before the rest of his team's able to help. And I mean, the situation varies from game to game, but this is the key part of these early domes, is you want to stay on the lookout for those quick downs while you're trapped. The last point I want to make about the dome is that when it comes down and you're not looking for any more kills, this is another opportunity to create space. You can see the dome is coming down soon in the top right corner, or maybe it's the top left corner. I don't remember. But once you get that first down and that dome is coming down quickly, or maybe you've been fighting for a while and the dome is coming down and you're not planning on going for any more downs after that or any more kills, you want to try to save some of your traversal abilities to get that big boost of space, because the hunters are going to be using their jetpacks a lot during the fight, and they're not going to have the mobility to keep up with you as soon as the dome comes down. I mean, the game kind of runs in this type of cycle of you ran after the dome goes down, run, you feed, they catch up to you, they dome you, you fight it. And I'm going to call this next part kind of like an end game. So this is when you believe that you've developed a large enough health advantage to be able to kill all 4 of the hunters just in a straight fight. And the most important thing to remember during this end game is you're looking for kills now, not just downs, and to pay attention to that dropship, because that dropship still will bring them back to life if you're taking too long killing everybody. You don't want to risk so much of your health trying to finish off the game if they're going to come down in like 5 seconds and you won't have enough time to finish them off. Now, outside of killing all the hunters, I want to talk about the secondary objective here, which is the generator. Because maybe you've ran the cycle a few times now, and now you're stage 3, the hunters aren't going to be chasing you down. They have an objective to defend, which is the generator. And you have to go fight them, because if you just sit around waiting for them to come to you, you will lose on time. Now, here's the thing about the generator. It's not actually a win con. It's a tool to make the hunters fight you, because the hunters aren't going to just let you hit the generator for free, meaning you're going to walk over there and you're just going to brawl immediately. And if you have the health advantage that we were hoping to develop earlier in the game, 1 or 2 of those hunters might run away waiting for the dropship to bring their team back, And this is when you start hitting that generator to force that last 1 or 2 hunters to come back to fight you, and then you can finish them off. Because the alternative for them is just to run away and lose the game on generator. So like, you rarely ever win because you actually break the generator. But I mean, it is something that you want to keep in mind and use to your advantage. All in all, after you've played this game smartly, killed humanity's last hope, and hopefully ruined the days of 4 people on the other team from your superior strategy, you can now feel satisfied and queue up for more games and win more games and try to get that large win streak that it shows you at the beginning of the game to scare off more hunters. Hope you guys all enjoyed this video and excited for more, because I'm excited to make more for you guys. It takes a little bit more time for me to make these ones, so I do appreciate any feedback you guys give me. Like, subscribe, comment. Tell me what you want to see, because I can keep just making gameplay videos. I can make a perk list. I can do anything. So tell me what content you want to see. I will see it and I will comment and I will make it immediately afterward. Right now my plan is to just run through all the monsters, run through all the different classes. I don't know if I'm going to run through all the different hunters. There's a lot of hunters and it might be boring watching hunter gameplay after hunter gameplay. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. Cheers.